Now, for the last 10 months, British football coach Billy Hood has been behind bars in the United Arab Emirates after police found vape fluid containing cannabis oil inside his car.
He has always maintained that the oil was left by a friend who'd visited from England 2 weeks earlier. However, the authorities sentenced him to 25 years in prison, which was reduced to 10 years on appeal yesterday.
We can speak now on breakfast to Billy's mum, Breda, and brother Alex, and they're joined by Radha Stirling, who's the founder of Detained in Dubai, which is an organisation that's been advocating on Billy's behalf. Thanks to all of you. Mum, Breda, can I start with you first? The news that the sentence has been reduced to 10 years, welcome, I guess, but what's your reaction?
Not really welcomed, because Billy has done nothing wrong. So we thought yesterday that we were going to find out that Billy was going to be able to come home. If he's done nothing wrong and he's been told that the charges have been dropped against him, and yet he's still there for another 10 years. It's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking.
Alex, just explain for people watching at home the circumstances, what happened?
Billy's friend, obviously accidentally, left some CBD oils in his car. Police then stopped Billy and found these oils in his possession. He was then arrested and obviously charged for drug trafficking, promotion and possession of these vapes. That's when he received his 25-year sentence. We've obviously appealed it, and the appeal come out yesterday how they've removed the drug trafficking charge and the selling, but they've kept accidental possession, and that's why they've reduced it to 10 years. But how you can get 10 years for accidental possession is crazy.
Breda, in the meantime then, he remains behind bars. What have you been able to learn about his situation? What kind of contact have you had with him?
Billy has been able to phone a couple of times during the week, but we can never say what time he's going to call out. He says he's okay, but you can hear in his voice that he's actually not. Can't really say too much about the conditions or things because every phone call's monitored over there. So he just says, "I'm okay, Mum," but we tell him we'll never give up the fight until we get him home.
And Radha, I'm interested in your take on Billy's experience and obviously the development yesterday. Breda saying there how devastated the family are that the sentence has been reduced to 10 years, obviously clearly hoping for a much better result than that. What's your take on this?
I think that the problem stemmed from the fact that Dubai police, in my opinion, were quite negligent in charging him with the federal crimes of trafficking and selling the drugs when there was no evidence apart from that forced confession. So it escalated to a federal case, which means it ends up in Abu Dhabi, which has more severe consequences for these kind of allegations. If he were just charged in Dubai with possessing the CBD oil, it would have been a much easier process. Now that it's been escalated, it's, 10 years, it's unacceptable. It needs to be appealed, but the whole appeal process in Abu Dhabi is strenuous, it's lengthy, there are delays, and it's problematic. Now, this is a case that we've seen kind of over and over again, where someone has been in a car with a friend or didn't even know that someone else was in possession of marijuana, but they all get charged in a really wide cast net by the Dubai police. I think, the fact that the ruling came in and said that he unintentionally possessed the CBD oil, I think it's time for a ruler's intervention. There's been applications made for such an intervention, and that's what we're really pushing for now, because clearly this is unjust.
And Radha, what are the conditions like in prison over there? What can you tell us about that?
The conditions in Abu Dhabi have been reported by many people before him. We've had Andy Neal in prison, Matthew Hedges, Arta Legeska. Other people have come out and said that they've been beaten, tortured, subject to quite grave human rights violations. We're hoping that because there's such an interest in Billy's case from the British government and from the public, that will afford him a level of protection in there.
Breda, if you could talk to him now and have an honest conversation which was not monitored, would you say to him, were you a bit naive to get yourself into this situation? What would you say to him as his mum?
I say, Billy, you've been a little bit, you've maybe been a little bit silly, okay, you know, but he's done absolutely nothing wrong and he's stuck out there. And Boris Johnson, you need to take this up in Parliament. You need to put Billy's name out there. 160,000 people have signed his petition online, and yet no one seems to want to know about it. And I told Billy as well, one other thing, we'll never give up the fight, never.
And you're fighting hard now. We were just hearing about this possible ruler's intervention which can happen. But as I understand it, that could be months off. Is that right?
That's, well, there's a pardon happening on, it's the Independence Day on Saturday for the UAE, and they're going to be pardoning quite a few people, I believe. And we're just praying and hoping that Billy's name is going to be called on that list. I mean, it is randomly selected, and all we can do is just pray and hope that his name gets called.
Have you been given any indication that he might be on that list?
Nope, it's completely random. There's obviously thousands of people in prison out there for whatever charges and stuff. And all we're doing is just hoping.
And Alex, I know that I believe you've had a conversation with Billy since the result of the appeal was announced. How was he with you?
I spoke to him yesterday for about 5 minutes. He was disappointed because he's been there for now, come nearly 11 months, and he spent enough time in there to get a 10-year sentence for accidental possession or unknowingly having it. They basically admitted that he never knew it was in his car. It's crazy. I mean, it's a 10-year sentence for such a ridiculous crime. It's not even a crime. It's crazy.
Breda, you know him better than anyone. How will he be dealing with this in this situation?
Billy's quite strong-hearted and he's always upbeat. If anyone met Billy, he's the life and soul of everything. You'd know you'd met Billy. But the last time I spoke to him, you can feel that the fight's going in him. It is going. And we just need someone else to help us so much. Just bring him home, please.
Radha, finally from you, what are the options now for Billy? Is there anything else?
Yes, there is the possibility to appeal to the Supreme Court. We're also going to be putting a lot of diplomatic pressure on the UAE, and we're raising this through MPs. We're hoping to get a question into Parliament and really push the Foreign Office to exploit this relationship that they've built with the UAE, which is, you know, for trade and business. And I think that they really need to apply it in the area of human rights when a travesty like this happens. And there's nothing Billy could have done to prevent this. He didn't know that he had the CBD oil. There's loads of people, so hundreds of people over the years who have been in this exact situation. It comes down to the UAE improving their justice system and ensuring that there's no false confessions, that they actually have evidence to secure a prosecution or a conviction before arresting and charging that person.
Thank you all very much indeed for your time this morning, for joining us on Breakfast. We will keep across this story in the days and weeks to come. Thank you.